everybody, this is the Wikstrand, and would you look at that? Not a cloud in sight, the sun is out, it's almost June and it is 25 degrees outside. What a great day to make a review on, eh? It's not such a great day, however, for McCready and his fellow scientists in Antarctica. I'm gonna tell you that one for free. Today we're going to take a look at one of the more notorious cult movies from the 1980s, struggling to find its audience because, you know, the same year that this movie was released was also the release of E.T. You know, seeing this very friendly alien made the audience a bit maybe reluctant to see a movie about a bad alien. So the movie was not a huge hit when it came out. It couldn't have, you know, been because nobody knew who John Carpenter was or something like that, because John Carpenter at this stage of his career was a household name. You could say that the same fate also fell upon Blade Runner. I think, for my money, that this is the second greatest movie that Carpenter has ever done. I still maintain that Big Trouble in Little China is a better movie for a variety of reasons, but I will explain that when I review that movie one day. I think this movie is absolutely fantastic, but there's one thing that's always been a little head-scratching to me ever since I saw this movie maybe the first time in, you know, the early 90s. They are scientists, right? Why don't they have so many guns in, you know, this, you know, scientific research station, essentially? I mean, sure, you have to defend yourself against, what, walruses or something like that, but this amount of firepower, does, you know, the penguins in Antarctica packing heat or something like that? I don't know. And flamethrowers, what the fuck are you going to defend yourself against with a fucking flamethrower? But it's a bit beside the point, but I just wish that they could have explained it a little bit. But with that said, let's go and see what's going on in this movie, shall we? This is The Thing. So as I say, we are in Antarctica and we have this, you know, a scientific research station, and they get a visitor. The visitor is in form of a dog. The dog has apparently, you know, escaped from the Norwegian camp, which is the closest station to theirs. And apparently they have gone all mad there because they tried to shoot the dog and maybe was also going to try to shoot them. So, you know, they killed the Norwegian guy. So they go and try to figure out what, you know, has happened, you know, in the Norwegian station. By the way, if you want to find out what happened in the Norwegian station, you can watch the sort of prequel movie that came out, what was it, 2011, I think. Anyway, what they found was apparently a ship. And in the ship was a shape-shifting alien who can assimilate anything it comes in contact with, a dog, or in this case, a person. Because soon they discovered that the alien is among them. He's mimicking one of them. But who is the alien? Who is the imposter? And who are the humans? The thing is that the alien has no intention of, you know, trying to, you know, harm them or anything like that. He doesn't want to, you know, give up his location. He doesn't want to give up who he is. In the good old world of Gandalf, he wants to be found. So instead of this, you know, being a classical story of, you know, a ruckus somewhere and someone goes off to, you know, investigate and gets eaten by the creature, this is more of a creature is trying to stay under the radar and tries not to get detected, and all of the other people are trying to find them. It's sort of a reversal of a classical slasher film, essentially. That is maybe why I think this movie is so great, because let's face it, I'm not the biggest fan when it comes to horror movies and, you know, movies with monsters of this type of things. This movie works 100% because of how serious I think they take this movie. This is not a tongue-in-cheek thing, and they're not trying to, you know, use catchphrases or cute little fun 80s details. This movie is so serious that this movie feels so important because of how serious they take this thing. I think that is why this movie works so well. And we are, of course, in the very, very capable and secure hands of McCready, Kurt Russell, and his big bushy beard. I really like Kurt Russell. He's one of my favorite actors, and I think this is one of my favorite, you know, performances by him. And He's just so calm and stern, and he never loses his cool, and he's just this guy that really wants to, you know, fix this and is a take charge guy, while simultaneously remaining a three-dimensional, very enjoyable and relatable character. I really like him, and he's flanked by, you know, these classical 1980s character actors, including Keith Davis, and they're just a lot of fun with all of these characters, and you're really curious of where this one is going. And because this movie moves in such a rapid pace, you never, you know, are left with all of these questions of why is this going on and why is that going on, and we don't have time for side plots, and there's only the focus on trying to find out who is the imposter, who is the thing. But the true hero of this movie is probably named Rob Bottin, because if he hadn't been attached to this movie, I have a serious doubt that this movie would have been even half as good as it is now. Rob Bottin, by the way, is the guy who was responsible for creating The Thing, and he is this master puppeteer. And the thing is that all of these practical effects and puppets and things that they use, they look incredible, and is one of the reasons why The Thing is so freaking scary, because it looks like nothing else. It isn't, you know, your classic guy in suit. Even Alien is still a guy in a suit, despite being the most frightening thing ever. This thing, you can't quite get a grip on it because it is in such different weird and, you know, twisted shapes that you're getting all, oh, what is this? And they look so impressive, and because this movie is made in 1982, they didn't have CGI yet who could have, you know, fucked this thing up. Steven Spielberg could work around it in the movie Jurassic Park because he blended CGI and practical effects to the point where you could never quite be sure what you were looking at, which was one of the reasons why the illusion was kept relatively intact. Here the illusion is all intact because all of the special effects 100% holds up. Add to that a fantastic atmosphere and Ennio Morricone's amazing soundtrack, and then, baby, you have a true 1980s classics. There is one thing that I have always been a little bit, I wish that was better. I thought that the, you know, mystery and the mistrust and the practical things that they do to try to figure out who is the imposter could have been done better. I always thought that that was the weakest part of the story. They had all the ingredients there, but it just wasn't realized to its fullest potential. I think that this is maybe because that they wanted to do more of a horror-based story rather than a thriller-based story, which I personally think would have been even better. But I'm not going to complain too much about it. This is a very tense, very suspenseful, fantastic looking sci-fi horror movie with great characters, fantastic writings, and above all else, a perfect ending. This is the type of a movie that, you know, if it would have been made like in 2005, or if it would have been done, you know, by some director who wasn't as good as John Carpenter was, they probably could have bungled this up with quite a horrible ending, but now they do not do that, and for that I am eternally grateful, because we have what I would consider the best ending you could have ever done in this movie. This is also a type of an ending that have people guessing a lot of things of, you know, what did this mean and what does that mean, and did this mean that, or what is actually going on here? And it is an ending that is sort of open and sort of closed at the same time. It is fascinating how great this ending is. So, do I recommend The Thing? Of course I do. It is a fantastic piece of 1980s movies that doesn't feel like an 80s movie. It is completely timeless. It is also, you know, built on a very simple premise. We have a bunch of guys in a location where they cannot get away from, trapped with a creature that does not want to be found, but will attack if threatened. And because of that, it creates a very fun and suspenseful dynamic, which the makers of this movie take almost full advantage of. As I said, I still think that they could have done a better job with the psychological game that we have going on here, but I'm not going to complain too much about it. I will say this: if you've never seen The Thing, see The Thing. You will not be disappointed at all. If you feel that you are curious to see what, you know, happened at the Norwegian station, I think that the sequel, prequel, reboot thingy that came out 2011 is not as bad as some people say it is. It's not just as good as this one. And if you have seen it, see it again, because it still absolutely 100% holds up. Not John Carpenter's best movie, but John Carpenter's second best movie. Or is They Live better than this one? Debatable, but it's one of the 3 best at least. The Thing easily bags 89 points. I think this is a very, very good sci-fi horror movie. Not one of my favorite genres of all time, but when done correctly, it is done absolutely to perfection. And I think that this is a movie that is very close to perfection. I love the style this movie has. I love the characters and I love the ending. I love this movie so, so much. It's not quite as rewatchable as They Live or Big Trouble in Little China maybe, but hot doggity damn, it is absolutely great. So which one is your favorite when it comes to the John Carpenter movies? Comment below and I'll see you next time for, well, so-and-so reviewing, well, such and such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.